Have you heard of the latest addition to the India-Pakistan conundrum? It's a weather war, a war which Pakistan seems to have lost in its very first attempt. Let me start from the beginning. The Indian Met Department decided to include Pakistan-occupied Kashmir in its weather reports. IMD reports from Mirpur, Muzaffarabad and several other POK cities are being aired by the Indian public service broadcaster Prasar Bharati. Pakistan is mighty upset. The Imran Khan government first called India's move legally void. It said that IMD reports on POK were in violation of United Nations Security Council resolutions. No one even cared to respond. So Pakistan decided to set sail using someone else's star. Islamabad decided to copy New Delhi. On Sunday, Radio Pakistan, the country's national radio broadcaster, carried a weather report from Ladakh. A report aimed at levelling scores with India. A report meant to give details of the maximum and minimum temperatures in Ladakh. It ended up being a report on the IQ of those running this state broadcaster because it defied all rules of mathematics and common sense. -4 degrees was declared the maximum temperature in Ladakh. -4 maximum. -1 degree was the minimum temperature. Just what were they trying to do here? Reveal maximum ignorance and minimum expertise on the subject. And speaking of ignorance, it seems to flow from the top in Pakistan. I have some examples. Not the first time a goof up by Pakistan has made headlines. There was a time when Pakistan's Science and Technology Minister wanted to provide internet to Kashmir using satellites. There was a time when the Prime Minister of Pakistan thought trees produce oxygen at night and absorb carbon dioxide. There was also a time when the same Prime Minister, Imran Khan, thought Japan and Germany shared borders. He said it, believe me. And who could forget this? A quote by Rabindranath Tagore, wrongly attributed to writer Khalil Gibran. This was on the official Twitter handle of the Pakistan Prime Minister. He Googled it, I'm assuming. I can give you more examples, but you get the point. Pakistan thinks it's better to fail at copying than to succeed at originality. Now, 3 questions. Can the sun rise in the west instead of the east? Can fish have noses instead of gills and live on land instead of water? Can Pakistan's Science and Technology Minister Fawad Chaudhry ever make sense? They can't. These are all low IQ questions. Can Fawad Chaudhry give comical relief with his rational statements? Yes, he can. Today, the gentleman suggested that Pakistan is looking to provide internet to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. I'm not making this up. He actually said it. Listen to this.
जो मकबूजा कश्मीर है वहाँ के अवाम को इंटरनेट की सहूलत मुयस्सर नहीं है, तो हमें इस बात का जायजा लेना है कि क्या पाकिस्तान में स्पार्को सैटेलाइट के जरिए या और किसी जरिए से हम मकबूजा कश्मीर के लोगों को इंटरनेट तक रसाई दे सकते हैं, और अगर दे सकते हैं तो उसकी टेक्निकल पॉसिबिलिटी जो है वो कैसे है। इंटरनेट जो है वो आजकल दुनिया उसको एक फंडामेंटल राइट मानती है, बुनियादी हक मानती है लोगों का, इंसानों का।
Internet, that fundamental right, is not even available to Pakistanis, by the way. As of June 2019, there were only 7.1 crore internet users in a country of more than 20 crore people. That's Pakistan. And that translates to 35% internet penetration in Pakistan. But that's not Mr. Fawad Chaudhry's worry. He wants to provide internet to Kashmir. This statement is par for the course for a country that has failed in its bid to internationalize Kashmir. Also, it's good distraction from the state of crisis in Pakistan's economy and politics. By the way, the Science and Technology Minister even cannot spell the name of Pakistan's space organization. He called it SPRACO. We'll make the correction for Mr. Fawad Chaudhry. Pakistan's space organization is known as Pakistan Space and Upper Atmosphere Research Commission. The short form is SUPARCO. But it's not Mr. Chaudhry's fault. You can only remember an organization when it achieves something, not when it is dormant. Now, naturally, in the era of social media, such intelligent statements will have traction. This one did too. And fortunately and interestingly, India and Pakistan's Twitter users were united on this issue. Sample some of these responses.
Hello.
The question is, can Pakistan provide internet to Jammu and Kashmir even if it wanted to? The answer is yes, it can, but it's complicated. First of all, only mobile internet through satellite is possible, and that too comes with a lot of riders. Wired internet connections will not be possible. But we don't expect Pakistan's science minister to understand all this. He's a person who can't get the name of Pakistan's own space agency right, and he wants to provide internet through satellite to the quote-unquote caged citizens of Kashmir. We'd like to remind Mr. Chaudhary that India has anti-satellite weapons. And by the way, Balochistan, the second largest province in Pakistan, has been without access to internet since the year 2015. Also, internet is restricted in federally administered tribal areas in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Fix that first. Jokes apart, Fawad Chaudhry's statement symbolizes the unhealthy obsession of Pakistan to interfere in Kashmir. And we'd like to say for a billionth time, Kashmir is an internal issue of India. Pakistan has no right whatsoever to interfere in the constitutional changes that the government of India makes in its own territory. But then again, this is Naya Pakistan. Logic won't sell here to ministers like Mr. Chaudhry. We say to Pakistan government, please provide tomatoes at affordable prices to the people of Pakistan before bothering about internet. Jumping on the bandwagon. You've all heard of this idiom. Pakistan has jumped on and off many bandwagons. And something similar happened yesterday. Pakistan jumped on a bandwagon without even knowing the song it was playing. It ended up embarrassed as always. We're talking about a hashtag that was trending in Pakistan yesterday. Hashtag boycott UAE, United Arab Emirates. Why? Are the Emirates sending Pakistani expats back yet? Not really. Then why do Pakistanis want to boycott the UAE? Because Turkey said so. Pakistani Twitter users jumped on Turkey's bandwagon to trend this hashtag. It's a bit complicated. Let me put it simply for you and give you a bit of background. Turkey and the UAE have been at loggerheads over Libya, an oil-rich, war-torn country that both want to influence. So it's Turkey versus the UAE. The standoff went online. Trends began, hashtags began. Now, some of the creative ones began highlighting the strengthening relationship between India and the UAE. The hashtag soon reached Pakistan. It had to. Now, Pakistani netizens did not really understand the trend very much. All they saw was that this trend mentioned India. UAE is India's friend, so it must be boycotted. They unleashed a tweet storm. Pakistan's keyboard warriors ensured that hashtag boycott UAE becomes the top trend. What they forgot was their own government's outstanding debts to the UAE. Pakistan owes billions of dollars to the United Arab Emirates. Time and again, it has sought financial assistance packages from this kingdom. The visuals on your screens tell you a story. This Gulf nation has been one of the main avenues for Pakistan to seek bailouts, besides China, of course. No wonder the Prime Minister plays chauffeur. A fact that has now turned into a national embarrassment for Pakistan. Thanks to Turkey, a series of reality checks were given by social media influencers in Pakistan. Reality checks about how those trending this hashtag will themselves not be able to repay this debt even if they sell their kidneys. We are not saying this, the Pakistanis are. It's a debt which the Pakistan government too will find hard to pay, no matter how many embassy buildings it sells. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. A story of how deep the rot runs in Pakistan. A couple of years back, Pakistan Foreign Ministry officials sold their embassy buildings in Jakarta and Tokyo. These officials received kickbacks. The National Accountability Bureau of Pakistan has now revived a corruption case against these officials. Let me repeat that. The Pakistan Foreign Ministry is fighting an embezzlement case within Pakistan. And no, This is not the only Pakistani ministry accused of scams. Even the health ministry has been accused of corruption. A health minister, to be precise. Remember Dr. Zafar Mirza, the special assistant to Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan on health, the man who once reportedly smuggled 20 million masks out of Pakistan. Imran Khan has finally decided to curtail his authority, the authority to make financial decisions, because there's been another scam. This time, in the import of vitamin tablets. So Mr. Zafar Mirza has been instructed to send all summaries involving any financial matters to the Prime Minister henceforth. But he won't be fired. Imran Khan, you see, is only adjusting corruption. He's not quashing it. This was his rallying political call as an opposition leader, fighting graft. The Naya Pakistan remains mired in old ways, though. Pakistan's own house is in a mess. Pakistan's keyboard warriors keep kicking up more mess. And what does the government of Pakistan do? It only blesses this glorious mess. They say diplomacy is the art of saying the nastiest things in the nicest ways. For Pakistani diplomats, it's the art of doing the nastiest things in any way possible. From pushing fake currency notes into India to stealing wallets, time and again, Pakistani diplomats have been caught in controversies. This time, one of them has been accused of sexual harassment. His name is Waqar Ahmed, an officer of the Pakistan Foreign Service. He was posted as the first secretary at the Pakistan Embassy in Ukraine. He has now been dismissed from his position. Waqar Ahmed has been charged with sexually harassing a cleaning staff at the Pakistan Embassy in Kiev. He threatened the staff member. He had her dismissed from the job. The Pakistan Foreign Ministry says he has been fired. They say his behavior was unbecoming of an officer and a gentleman. It's not the first time, though, that Pakistani diplomats have been accused of behavior unbecoming of a gentleman. You see, Pakistani diplomats have a history of embarrassing Islamabad, but not all of them have met the same fate as Waqar Ahmed. Take the example of Munir Akram. He's Pakistan's permanent representative at the United Nations. Munir Akram has a domestic violence case against him in the US. He was accused of physical abuse by his live-in partner. This was back in 2002. He was excused thanks to diplomatic immunity. Some of his other counterparts were not so lucky, though, like Mohammad Arshad Cheema, first secretary at the Pakistan Embassy in Nepal. Mr. Cheema was arrested in 2001 with explosives, 16 kilos of RDX. What use does a diplomat have of RDX? We don't know. Or we do, but why state the obvious? What we can tell you is that he was accused of being linked with the December 1999 hijacking of an Indian Airlines flight in Kathmandu. Other Pakistani diplomats have also been linked with terror activities like Amir Zubair Siddiqui. He was a visa counselor at the Pakistan High Commission in Sri Lanka. The diplomat was charged with conspiracy to attack defense establishments at an Israeli and US consulate in India. The list does not end there. Farina Arshad, the second secretary at the Pakistan High Commission in Bangladesh, she had to be called back in 2015. Why? Because an operative of the outlawed Jamaatul Mujahideen in Bangladesh admitted to having links with her. If the terror charges against them were not enough, one Pakistani diplomat decided to steal the wallet of a Kuwaiti official. Too bad there were cameras. This was 2 years back. We don't know what happened to this one. Such is the state of diplomacy in Pakistan that the United States once had to impose travel restrictions on Pakistani diplomats. This was in 2019. No Pakistani diplomat was allowed to travel beyond a 25-mile radius in Washington, D.C. without prior approval. Too many wallets, you see. Now, they say that your words reflect your character. The way you talk about others says a lot about you. And if that's the case, then Imran Khan and his delegation visiting Kartarpur this weekend surely left their etiquette back in Islamabad. Let's tell you what happened. The trans-border Kartarpur corridor opened for Sikh pilgrims on Saturday. India sent a 550-strong delegation to mark the opening day. Indian leaders from across party lines went to Pakistan because for them, the event was supposed to honor the beliefs of thousands of Sikhs. But for Pakistan, it was nothing more than propaganda, it seems. Imran Khan was the last to arrive. The 67-year-old Imran Khan was seen addressing former Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh on a first-name basis. Take a look at this.
गेट खुले हैं, उनके गेट बंद हैं, शॉट लेने ले ली चलो जी लेकिन मनमोहन आ गया हमारे गेट खुले हैं, उनके गेट बंद हैं, शॉट लेने ले ली चलो जी लेकिन मनमोहन आ गया
Now, those of you not familiar with how Urdu works, this is clearly not how you address an 87-year-old, especially an ex-Prime Minister. If you think that's bad, then take a look at how the Pakistani Foreign Minister bragged about being served tea by Dr. Manmohan Singh.
Your house. That's right. You know, you Begum Sahiba ne chai banai. Manmohan Singh sahab khud apne haath se lekar aaye. And I came and I narrated this story to people. I said, what a big man. You know, look at the gesture.
Imran Khan went a step further. He referred to the Congress leader Navjot Singh Sidhu as ours. What followed? Bathroom jokes and an admission of how the Pakistani government controls the media.
मैं कह रहा हूँ हमारा आगे पहले सर हम उसको गाँव का भाषण लेने के लिए गए हैं वो उन्होंने हमें नहीं लिया
रोकना जब उसको रोकेंगे तो वो हमारे
हीरो बनाएंगे
वो सारे चैनल्स की हेडलाइन होगी.
As the theatrics unfolded in Kartarpur, just across the border, Prime Minister Modi thanked the Pakistani government for respecting Indian sentiments, a gesture of goodwill. How does Imran Khan respond to that? He raises the Kashmir issue at an event that was supposed to be about Sikh pride. The obsession clearly has not ended. What has unfolded in the past week in Kartarpur has made one thing very clear. Anti-India hate remains a constant footnote in all of Pakistan's gimmicks. And these images will tell you the story. Falsehoods about the Indian armed forces. Khalistani posters. Sikh separatists glorified. And ISI-backed apps promoting a Sikh referendum. We've said this earlier, we'll say it again. Kartarpur may be a victory of faith, but there's no denying that it remains in treacherous terrain. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Imran Khan is the butt of all jokes on social media for giving an extension to the Pakistani army chief. It reinforces a widely held suspicion in India and key world capitals that Imran Khan's government offers a civilian facade for the Pakistani army to hold the reins of power.
Imran U-turn Khan has done it again. In 2016, Imran Khan posted a tweet saying that the nation's respect for General Raheel Sharif has gone up after his statement refusing to seek an extension. 3.5 years later, Imran Khan, the Prime Minister, gives Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa an extension for 3 years. The general was scheduled to retire in November this year. General Bajwa will now command the army for another full term. Khan's predecessor, Nawaz Sharif, appointed General Bajwa as the army chief in November 2016 after the retirement of General Raheel Sharif. General Bajwa was the fourth in the seniority of generals but was catapulted into the top post. But the manner in which Imran Khan went about giving an extension to General Bajwa is particularly striking because he was a staunch opponent of giving extensions to generals and judges after their retirement. In one TV interview before Imran Khan came to power, he said, and I quote, "When you change the laws for an individual, it weakens the entire institution," unquote. The extension given to the army chief is the latest in a series of embarrassing U-turns by Imran Khan, which earned him the nickname of U-turn Khan. Khan had said that he would rather die than go with a begging bowl to the International Monetary Fund, only to end up seeking the IMF's help for a $6 billion bailout package. A brief statement from Prime Minister Imran.
Let's talk about Pakistan now. The country is running out of funds to tackle the coronavirus menace, but baseless claims about India are aplenty. I'm talking about the Pakistani Prime Minister in particular. A few days back, he was seen crying for the cameras. Now he seems distressed about what's happening in India, or so he thinks. Yesterday, the Pakistani Prime Minister put out this tweet. He said that minorities in India were being targeted by the Indian government to divert attention from its coronavirus response. And he compared it to what the Nazis did to the Jews in Germany. Divert attention, he says. Who really is trying to divert attention? India or Pakistan? Let me show you something that will settle the debate once and for all. This report by Pakistan's leading English daily Dawn. It was published on the 12th of April. It has been penned by Sulema Jahangir, a Pakistani advocate. Allow me to quote some excerpts. Pakistan has failed to comply with its international obligations to protect non-Muslim women and girls from exploitation by powerful groups and criminal elements, unquote. Some other reports go on to suggest that the coronavirus outbreak has made girls from the minority communities, that is Hindus and Christians, more vulnerable in Pakistan. They say that girls as young as 16 could be converted on the pretext of saving their lives during this pandemic. I repeat the question, who is trying to divert attention here? Meanwhile, the Indian Foreign Ministry has replied to Pakistan in a language it understands best. The ministry has said that on the subject of minorities, Pakistan would be, quote-unquote, well advised to address the concerns of its own dwindling minority communities. And here's something else that Pakistan must address. Deficiencies in the Kartarpur Sahib Gurdwara. Remember how badly Pakistan tried to sell the inauguration of the shrine a few months back. The Pakistani Prime Minister was seen marveling at the quote-unquote quality of construction. He spoke about that. Here's what happened on Saturday. 5 domes of the shrine collapsed due to strong winds. This speaks volumes of the quality of construction. The Pakistan government claims to have repaired them within hours of the damage. But who knows if they'll stand another thunderstorm. We can only hope the repair work is as firm as Pakistan's never-ending obsession with India. Pakistanis have it very difficult. Their government keeps failing them on a daily basis, and now they can't even have their daily basics. Imran Khan's Naya Pakistan is an inflation-hit dystopia. Tomatoes are the latest pain. Our next report helps you catch up, or should I say catch up. Sorry for the bad pun. Here's the report.
Two months back, Imran Khan had to roll back the prices of naan, the daily bread of millions of Pakistanis. Now his stint is tainted with tomatoes, selling at exorbitant prices. Guess how much a kilo of tomatoes costs in Pakistan? More than 300 rupees a kilogram, a staggering sum for a staple in all households. This is economic oppression unleashed by the Pakistani government on its own citizens. Pakistan is world-renowned for being the breeding ground for terrorism. But it's interesting to note that apart from the jihadist variety, it can perpetrate other forms of oppression too. Poor policy making with even poorer implementation has resulted in this catastrophe. But the government is in denial that inflation is bleeding people, denial that the country's economy is in a shambles. As was evident in this conversation of the Prime Minister's financial advisor, Hafiz Sheikh with Pakistani journalists.
कराची में सब्जी मंडी में 17 रुपए किलो टमाटर मिल रहे हैं।
कौन सी सब्जी मंडी में सर?
आप जाएं जाके चेक करें।
कौन सी सब्जी मंडी में? इस्लामाबाद की?
फिर वही
एड्रेस भी बता दें।
के ऊपर चल रही है।
टीवी पे तो 240 चल रहा है, 240 चल रहा है। टीवी में तो चल रहा है 240 चल रहा है।
मैंने आज 300 रुपए में खरीदा है।
अब्दुल हफीज शेख साहब का जो किचन है वो पाकिस्तान में नहीं है।
हुक्मरानों को अगर पता ही नहीं है कि कौम कितनी मुश्किल में है, गरीब कितनी मुश्किल में है, और वो अपने तरफ से गलत बयानी करे तो हमें तो उस पर रहम नहीं आता।
It's not just the prices of tomatoes that have gone up. Milk in Pakistan sells for 108 rupees per litre. Chicken is at 360 rupees per kilogram. And petrol, 114 rupees per litre. That's what inflation has done to Pakistan. The cost of living has become too high. And the government's response is this. The Pakistan Bureau of Statistics is removing tomatoes from the basket of goods that it uses to calculate inflation. They're denying the crisis and cooking the books to hide it. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
We might as well look at what's happening across the border. Given the pace at which this virus is spreading, it's of utmost importance that we keep track of what's happening in Pakistan as well. What is Pakistan doing to contain it, or if it's doing anything at all? The country has recorded 8 deaths and over 8,000 active cases. 8 deaths, and yet there's brazen misinformation being spread by the Pakistani leadership. None other than the information and broadcasting advisor to the Prime Minister, saying that this virus will not kill people. You have to hear it.
लोगों के अंदर ये खौफ खराश कम हो और लोगों को ये यकीन हो कि इस वायरस का शिकार होने के बाद भी आप जिंदा बचेंगे और इंशाल्लाह आपकी जान को कोई खतरा नहीं, क्योंकि ये जानलेवा मर्ज नहीं, ये खतरनाक जरूर है लेकिन जानलेवा नहीं है।
You heard that. The virus is dangerous but not deadly, she says. Whether this is denial or optimism, I cannot say for sure, but it's definitely reflecting on the Pakistan government's policies. Prime Minister Imran Khan has refused to impose a nationwide lockdown. He says an all-out lockdown will lead to chaos.
ये जो लॉकडाउन की डेफिनेशन है ये दुनिया में वेरी कर रही है। कर्फ्यू जो है वो भी दुनिया में लग चुका है। आपने इटली में देखा है कि वहां जो बाहर निकलता है वो पकड़ के उसको उठा के जेल में ले जाते हैं। सिंध के अंदर भी उन्होंने लोगों को जेलों में डाला है। अभी जो हमने देख रहे हैं कि वो निकलने नहीं देते। देखें, 80th अमेंडमेंट के बाद सूबे अपने खुद फैसले करते हैं, हम सिर्फ उनको एडवाइस कर सकते हैं। मैंने शुरू से भी एक चीज कही है कि जो आखिरी स्टेज है, जो कर्फ्यू है, वो बड़ा सोच समझ के और तैयारी से जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि जो भी आज आप कदम उठाएंगे उसको सस्टेनेबल होना चाहिए।
The Pakistani Prime Minister just won't give in, not to the demands of the thousands of citizens in peril, nor to the demands of those stuck miles away in virus-hit China. Hundreds of Pakistani students are still stranded in Wuhan, but Mr. Khan is downplaying their concerns. In fact, he doesn't even trust their claims.
जिस तरह वो वुहान प्रोविंस में थे, हमारे लिए बड़ा मुश्किल था। हर रोज वो आजकल तो अपने मोबाइल फोन के ऊपर आप कोई भी वीडियो डाल सकते हैं और आप दर्द भरी के माँ बाप रो रहे हैं, बच्चों का बुरा हाल है, बड़ा प्रेशर था। हमने इसलिए हम कामयाब हुए क्योंकि चाइना के अंदर बड़ा जबरदस्त कंट्रोल था। उन्होंने बकायदा हम इन टच रहे। मैंने प्रेसिडेंट शी से खुद बात की इसके ऊपर। वो मुसलसल उन्होंने हमें बताते रहे क्या हो रहा है, बच्चों का क्या हाल है, क्या कंट्रोल्स कर रहे हैं, और चाइना से एक मरीज नहीं आया।
Imran Khan is singing praises of China's measures and facilities. What about Pakistan? How well equipped is his country? Let me show you. Pakistan. Meanwhile, coronavirus publicity stunts in Pakistan are at their peak. From have-been cricketers to wannabe politicians. Nobody wants to miss a photo op. have been cricketers like Shahid Afridi and wannabe politicians like Shahid Afridi. For those who don't know him, Shahid Afridi is a former Pakistani cricketer, somebody who was known to play for the galleries, so much so that he once bit a cricket ball in front of dozens of TV cameras to keep the crowd entertained. The 40-year-old Afridi is now a changed man. He's done tampering cricket balls. Shahid Afridi now wants to lead, not by example though, but by rhetoric, perhaps taking a cue from Imran Khan. A video has emerged from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The video shows Pakistani army officials by Shahid Afridi's side. Afridi himself is dressed in a camouflage shirt and appears to be giving a lecture not on the coronavirus crisis at hand, but on something more important to Pakistan than the lives of its citizens. Kashmir. Listen to this.
एक बहुत बड़ी बीमारी इस वक्त दुनिया में फैली हुई है। अल्लाह ताला हम सबको अपनी हिफ्ज़ो अमान में रखे। लेकिन इससे बड़ी बीमारी जो है वो मोदी के दिल और दिमाग में है। वो बीमारी मजहब की बीमारी है। मजहब को लेके वो सियासत कर रहे हैं और हमारे ये 2 किलोमीटर पे जहाँ हमारे कश्मीरी भाई, कश्मीरी बहनें, बुजुर्ग हमारे, उनके साथ जो इतने अरसे से जुल्म कर रहा है वो आदमी, इंशाअल्लाह उसको इस दुनिया में भी जवाब देना होगा और आखिरत में भी जवाब देगा वो।
Shahid Afridi seems to have too many questions for the Indian Prime Minister. Well, we have some advice for Shahid Afridi. How about asking some questions to the Pakistani Prime Minister first? Questions that Pakistani citizens cannot afford to ask. Shahid Afridi perhaps can, being in the position that he is. Questions like, why is Pakistan testing missiles despite the coronavirus outbreak? Missile tests that almost always end up in failure. Why now? Here's another question that must be asked. Why has the Pakistan government allowed its citizens to become guinea pigs for clinical trials of unproven coronavirus cures from China? Why again is the Pakistan army seeking a pay hike when the Pakistani economy is in tatters? And while he's at it, Shahid Afridi may want to address the rampant misogyny in Pakistan as well. Why are clerics in Pakistan blaming scantily dressed women, their words, scantily dressed women, for the coronavirus crisis? He must ask the question. And speaking of misogyny, allow me to digress a bit. Shahid Afridi has 5 daughters. He has forbidden all of them, his own daughters, to play cricket, a sport which made him what he is today. Every time he's questioned about this decision, Shahid Afridi takes refuge in quote-unquote social and religious reasons. And he says that he doesn't care what the feminists say. Well, we hate to break it to him, but most of the world doesn't care about what he says either. Some Indian cricketers do though. Cricketers who once willfully donated to Shahid Afridi's coronavirus fundraiser. They now seem to be in damage control mode. Harbhajan Singh and Yuvraj Singh. 2 former players who not long ago pledged support to Shahid Afridi's initiative. Guess what they're saying now? Never again. A realization, better late than never, we say. As for Shahid Afridi, the Pakistan social media thinks that this statement, what he said here, is his best strike ever. But for us, his words were just like his post-match press conferences. Laughable.